What's going on, everybody? We've got a knockout matchup here that has a lot more going on beneath the surface than just the team names. Brazil versus Norway is the kind of game that immediately gets your attention because the history, the form, and the current tournament profiles all tell a very interesting story. In knockout football, that matters. The teams that understand how to survive pressure, manage space, and control the big moments usually give themselves the best chance to advance. So let's break this one down, looking at the full picture, the numbers, the tournament context, and the way both teams have handled this event so far. We start with Brazil versus Norway. First off, the head-to-head history is already enough to make this matchup stand out. Brazil have never beaten Norway. That is not a typo, and it is not a small sample either. For meetings over nearly 4 decades, and Brazil are still waiting for their first win in the series. That alone tells you there is something about this matchup that has never really worked the way people would expect it to. Norway's history in this matchup is real, but what makes them even more dangerous now is that this is not just a team living off old memories. This current group has done enough to prove that they belong on this stage. They went through UEFA qualifying with a perfect record, scored heavily, conceded very little, and then carried that form into the tournament itself. That kind of consistency is exactly what you want from an underdog in a knockout setting. Brazil still have the reputation, but the current setup is not as clean as it should be for a knockout favorite. Their last knockout match is also a warning sign. Brazil were pushed hard, had to find a way back into the game, and only got through after a very late winner. That does not scream total control. It tells you this team is capable of surviving, but not necessarily cruising. Against a Norway side that has already shown it can hurt strong opponents, that is a concern. The betting value here is on the side that has shown more cohesion and more belief in this tournament. Norway have a clear identity, they have a dominant qualifying profile, and they've already proven they can handle the pressure of a big knockout environment. Brazil may still be the bigger name, but the handicap spot makes a lot of sense. For me is Norway plus 0.5. That is the side with the better value based on the history and the current form. But my best pick is both teams to score this angle. Both teams know there is no safety net here, so the game should naturally open up once someone has to chase it. Norway are built to attack, Brazil are capable of responding, and neither side has given enough reason to believe this turns into a clean defensive shutout. Now for Mexico versus England. The first thing that jumps out is the home record, and that is where the case gets even stronger. Mexico have been unbeaten at this stadium in competitive play for 13 straight years. Across 89 competitive matches here, they have won 69 and lost just twice. That is an unbelievable run of home stability, and it is not the kind of thing you just dismiss in a knockout setting. This is a place where visiting teams have historically struggled to impose themselves. Then there is the setting. Mexico City is not a neutral environment in any sense. The Azteca sits at 7,350 feet above sea level, and that kind of altitude changes how a game feels very quickly. It affects stamina, recovery, decision-making, and how long teams can keep their intensity. That gives Mexico a natural edge before the ball is even kicked because they are already adapted to those conditions. England, meanwhile, bring quality, but their path through the tournament has not been nearly as convincing. Their comeback against DR Congo kept them alive, but the process was messy and far from comfortable. At this stage of a World Cup, that matters. It tells you they can survive, but it does not necessarily tell you they are in full control. The altitude is another massive issue for England. Proper acclimation usually takes around 10 days, and they are arriving after only a few. That is a serious problem in an environment where every sprint costs more and every recovery run feels longer. Mexico, by contrast, have already played most of their tournament matches in this same setting, so they are not adjusting to the conditions, they are already living in them. That leads to the first betting angle. Mexico have the better venue history, the better defensive profile, and the clearer advantage in conditions. England may have enough talent to stay competitive, but that does not make them the better side in this spot. Mexico's tournament form also deserves serious respect. They have played 4 matches and won all 4, while conceding 0 goals. That means more than 360 minutes of football without allowing a single ball into the net. They have also become just the third team in World Cup history to win their first 4 games by shutout in one tournament, joining elite company. That kind of defensive consistency is exactly what you want if you are looking for a team that can survive pressure and keep advancing. Their last 2 results in particular show the kind of shape they are in. They dismantled Czechia 3-0 in the group finale and then handled Ecuador 2-0 in the round of 32 to break a long knockout drought that had followed Mexican football for decades. Those are not the results of a team hanging on by luck. Those are the results of a team that knows exactly what it is doing. So for me, my best pick is Mexico to win. I also like under 2.5 goals. When you put it all together, this becomes a game where Mexico have the stronger setup on almost every level. The venue helps them, the crowd helps them, the conditions help them, and the defensive numbers back them up. England can absolutely create moments, but they have not shown enough consistency to make me trust them in this specific environment. That is the difference in knockout football. It is not just about who has more name value. It is about who is more stable, who is more comfortable, and who is more likely to play the game on their terms. In this matchup, Mexico checked those boxes far more convincingly. The biggest theme today is that the more stable and more defined team identity belongs to Norway. Brazil may still carry the weight of their history and reputation, but this matchup has never really favored them, and that matters when you are trying to find the side with the better betting value. Their current tournament picture also leaves enough questions to make them vulnerable, especially when you compare that to a Norway team that has been far more consistent in how it has approached these games. Norway have shown the stronger pattern, the better cohesion, and the kind of tournament form that gives them a real chance to stay level, stay competitive, and possibly even take the result outright if the game opens up in their favor. On the other side, Mexico enter this game with the better structure, the better home record, and the stronger defensive resume. England have enough talent to create problems, but talent alone does not erase the difficulty of the setting, and this one is heavily shaped by the altitude, the atmosphere, and the pressure of the knockout stage. Mexico are already comfortable in these conditions, and that advantage matters even more when every small detail can decide a World Cup match. In a fixture like this, the side that has already proven it can handle the environment, stay organized, and deliver in knockout football is the one that deserves the edge. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with somebody who's betting these games tonight. It really helps the channel grow, and it makes a huge difference in helping me keep these daily picks and breakdowns coming for you. I appreciate every bit of support, and it means a lot to keep building this with you all. I'll be back with more picks, more breakdowns, and more value in the next one, so make sure you stay tuned. Catch you in the next video.